This is a very interesting video I'm going to do today because I did one the other day on our identities that we create for ourselves that may not be true. Like, I'm not a creative person. I'm not an internet person. I'm not a fill in the blank person. I'm not a social person. I'm not an athletic person. I'm not a musically inclined person. We have all kinds of identities, right? That really limit us and hold us back. Every time we say, I'm not, we're cutting the odds of meeting great people that we never would have met unless we started playing guitar, let's say. Or, when I talk about myself, I've had so many identities in the past that were just BS. Stuff that society fed to me, stuff that I fed to myself that were complete lies. Like, I'm not a creative person. On the other video, I said, it's so crazy because people were telling me in my 20s and early 30s that I was an incredibly creative person. I could be a great book writer. And I kept saying, I have no experience. I bought into society's nonsense. For you to be a writer, you have to have a degree in journalism or English literature or some other kind of nonsense. Hell no. You need to have a desire to write is all you need, and you can become an incredible writer, right? So we create these identities. I'm not a morning person. Oh my God, that is something that I have embedded in my mind and my subconscious ever since I was born, I think. Now, I will say, to back up that quote, is that I have had a very hard time throughout my whole existence. Starting as a little kid, I was an outrageously light sleeper. So being a light sleeper, that would mean that you're not a fan of mornings, right? But that identity was shattered completely. And I couldn't believe what had happened. When my mom died, my mom and I had this outrageous bond. I mean, my brother and sister had an incredible bond with her as well. One of the things that, I'll never forget about my mom and why our bond grew so great after I got out of the house, it wasn't when I was in the house, is that, she never kicked me out of the house for drug use, alcohol use as a 12-year-old. My God, she was not happy, and she let me know she wasn't happy, but she never got rid of me. And so when I finally awoke in my 20s, I realized, oh my God, I have the most incredible mom, and this is amazing. And then from then until when she died at 92, we just were so tight and so close. And so what does this got to do with David Essel being a morning person? On the day she died, the very next day, I started getting up at 4:30 in the morning, automatically. I didn't want to, but it was like I was mechanically drawn out of my bed. I was just pulled out of my bed at 4:30. And the house I lived in at that time had a large courtyard, and I would just go out 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning with my journaling book, and I would sit, and as the sun started to rise, I would praise God and pray to Mom, and I'd cry for hours in the morning, thinking about her not being here anymore, not being able to reach out to her, not being able to see her. It was even better, believe it or not, seeing her ill and sick than never seeing her again. That was what was going through my head, and it went on for 10 months. I was getting up at 5 o'clock at the latest every morning, sitting out in the courtyard for 2.5 hours journaling, praying to God for some kind of relief and trying to figure out, how do I turn this grief into love? I know I can turn the sadness and the loss and the loneliness into only love for my mom. And I have done that, thank God. But it took 10 months, and 10 months of me being a morning person. Are you kidding me? In the courtyard by 5 a.m., there until 7:30 every morning. It was incredible, and it shattered me. I didn't realize I'd become a morning person until probably, 9 months into it, quite honestly. I started saying, oh my God, this is joyous. Even though I'm still hurting with my mom's loss, the sunrises are incredible. It's quiet. All you hear is birds. There's no one out. It's the most precious time of the day. And it was an amazing 10 months. And she died, I think, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago now. And over that period of time, I have let go of getting up in the morning, and I don't get up that early anymore. I still do my 2 hours of spiritual work and journaling every morning. I just do it a little later. But the purpose of this is, we limit ourselves. We completely limit ourselves when we have those identities that say, I'm not this. So this video is to let you know, yes, you are. If you desire to be a morning person, if you desire to be a creative person, if you desire to really learn the technology and the internet, if you desire whatever, to play guitar, to play piano, come on. Your identity is created by you. And you can shatter any of these old identities given by yourself or society, your family. You know, I was told forever I'm not a creative person. Oh my God, that was drilled into me. You're a phenomenal athlete. You're a great leader in athletics, which is why I went into sports psychology initially, right? But you're not creative at all. Oh my God, I heard it constantly. And then I shattered it in a strange way. But it also gave me the understanding I can shatter any other identity I have that is limiting me in nature. And you can too. Let me help you. If you carry an identity that you're not a morning person, you're not a night person, you're not or whatever, you're a victim to society, that because of genetics, you'll never be able to do A, B, C, D, and E, let's talk. Because of the addiction and it runs in your family, and once you're an addict for life, which is an absolute lie that organizations put out. Let's talk. Whatever identity we have, we can change. And I'm here to help you. We have thousands of tools to make it happen. Go to talkdavid.com. We have a brand new program, Motivation and Joy. And it's all about changing identity and getting you to the place that you really want to be. And there's major discounts on this program right now. Go to talkdavid.com. Join me from anywhere in the world. Let's shatter these limiting ideas, these limiting thought processes, these limiting identities, and let's really live. I'm David Essel. Have a great day.